Guys, back for deck building here. Gonna make some decisions. Want to cut down to... We could play 16 lands, but I think I'm gonna play 17 still. Right off the bat, cards that can go on the block. Otherworldly Journey, Raise the Alarm. Sunlance, maybe? And we kind of have a few different directions we can go in. Mutagenic Growth, Otherworldly Journey are really good if we're playing like all of our skirmishers and all that. I'm not sure that's the case, actually. This Mersmith's looking really good. Shikari, very solid. Flamekin Igniter is something I'm not dropping. We can look at these, one of those skirmishers, just because, yeah, they have two very, very powerful abilities, but they're pretty hard on the mana base. Though actually we want white early anyway, so there might just be better than Blood Ogre. Sickle Slicer's kind of a creature. Rusted Relic is going on the block. I think I like my other 4-drops more than Rusted Relic, even though it's cutting an artifact. Let me do a quick artifact count, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we have enough for these sort of affinity cards. Did I count this? I may have. Yeah, I did. Okay. Blood Ogre is a card I don't like cutting, but I think on curve consideration, I will cut it. It just feels like the worst of my 3-drops, which I almost never say. Sunlance is a card that occasionally doesn't do anything. That's the only reason why it's on the chopping block right now, is my deck might just be good enough where I can leave this in the sideboard and board it in against all the non-white decks. I mean, this almost always has a target. I really don't like cutting it. My creature quality is like really high. I like having extra creatures with Inner Flame Igniter, and you know, Bloodthirst creatures do require you to play a density of creatures that's higher than normal decks. Otherworldly Journey. We're playing 2 skirmishers, 2 trainees. I think we can leave this out. Actually, I think we can just cut these. Mutagenic Growth is a pretty big game. I don't like cutting Sickle Slicer just because, again, I'm starting out with this sort of affinity thing where you have a few Artifacts Matters cards. Mersmith, Court Homunculus. The other alternative is I can just go pure red-white, put Mutagenic Growth back in, cut Sickle Slicer. The problem is that leaves me with no removal if I'm not playing Sunlance. I want to finish this Affinity Shell and then I'll take a look at the other one. Actually, I think the other one might be better. My cranial plating gets a lot worse if I'm not playing all these artifacts. One of my last couple cuts, I could have cut a Homunculus. I could cut a Minotaurs, actually, on curve consideration. I could cut another Blood Ogre. Maybe the Blinding Soul Eater. And a Sickle Slicer. I can cut one artifact, and the Sickle Slicer is just so much worse than the rest of what I have. Which means I'm not cutting the Soul Eater, because I can't really cut two artifacts with this build. Minotaurs is really, really strong. We technically only need one more cut. Garrison can help make up for one less land. And we are an aggro deck that's topping out at Battle Grace Angel. Slaughtermaster still seems very good. Maybe we don't need the Flamekin. It accelerates this Inner Flame Igniter so quickly, but maybe we just have enough creatures with First Strike that we don't need to get the third activation all that much. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, this is a deck. Let's see what the curve is like when we combine the groups. That's a really good curve. That's basically perfection right there. Could consider one more cut, maybe Kite Sail, but I think we can play 16 lands. As I said, Garrison allows you to keep hands with like 2 lands that need 3 lands. Allows you to be a little more greedy on the mana base. And that's the form of greed I'm going to go with. I think it's correct, especially considering the number of 1-drops I have. Alright. 7/7, it asks. I think I'm going to go 8/6. Gives me 9 white sources and 7 red sources. Seems right, just because of how many 1-drops I have that are white. Alright, back for gameplay, guys.